Hey, what's up? This is Sarah Lee Day, and you're watching another episode of Dipsado Tidbits, the things you need to know about Dipsado delivered in bite-sized pieces. Lately, we've been talking about the projects area and going into more detail about each of the individual tabs within the project, what information is showing there, and what options you have for actions that you can take. So far, we've talked about emails, invoices, forms, and appointments, and today we're going to move on to workflows. Now within the Workflows tab, you will have a list of all active workflows on the project. For this particular project, I have a delayed email. This is one workflow. We talked about that a couple episodes ago, where that came from and how to update it. Then I also have this workflow map implementation workflow that has already been started and partially run through. So everything that's already been accomplished has already been checked off, and you can see the dates and times of when they were checked off. And at the bottom, you can see the actions that are still yet to run. This action right here is what is currently stopping the workflow. I have a to-do item to work on this implementation step. As soon as I complete this step, I'll check it off here, and that will cause the next workflow action item to run. Now for each item in here, you have 4 different options for things that you can do with the action item. You can click to edit. And if you need to make changes, maybe changes to the email it's going out, to the timing of it, to the action itself, any changes you need to make to that action, as long as it hasn't already run in the workflow, you can click that edit link and edit that information directly within the workflow. You can click remove to remove an action from the workflow if it no longer applies or you don't want it to run for some reason. There's a number of reasons why you might not want an action to go. You can just click to remove it. Mark completed. So let's just say that there's an action item that you completed externally, or you don't want it to actually run, but you do need it to mark off in the workflow so that something else that's triggered off of it will run. You can click mark completed, and it's not going to actually complete that action, but it will mark it as complete. That way, again, if there's something that is supposed to trigger off of the completion of that action, it will actually show it as completed without completing it so the rest of the workflow can run. And then finally, this force now action, if you've got an action that you need to force immediately, you need to force it sooner than it was scheduled, you just want to go ahead and force it earlier in the workflow for some reason, you can click force now on any action item and it will automatically go ahead and force that action to go through. Now be careful with that, because if you have other actions that are supposed to trigger off of that action going through, then as soon as you force it, all those other actions may trigger. So just be careful with that. At the bottom, you can add a new action. So let's say you've applied a workflow template, but you need to update it, you need to customize it, you need to add additional actions. You can always do that directly within the workflow itself. You can archive a workflow, so as soon as the workflow is completed, if you don't want to see it in the project anymore, you don't need it anymore, you can just archive that workflow so that you don't have to see it anymore. This button here shows that the workflow is currently active. Now, if your workflow gets paused for some reason, it could be a pause action directly within your workflow, or there could be an error in your workflow that is preventing it from actually running. This will turn yellow and say paused, and you won't be able to run any more actions until you correct the error or click this button to reactivate the workflow so that those actions can run. Now view workflow, if you click here, this will show you a list of all of the current projects and clients who are using that workflow. So this is the workflow up here. These are the different steps within this workflow map implementation workflow. And you can see here a list of all of the clients who have this workflow applied to their account, as well as how far along they are within the workflow. So these ones, they have been completed. All the green ones are completed. The orange ones are not yet completed. When you hover over it, it will give you a description of when that item will run, or when it was already completed, the date that it was completed. And you can actually click on any of these to go directly into that project to take a look at the workflow or make changes or whatever. Now, if you want to add a new workflow, you would come here to this Apply Workflow dropdown, and scroll down to whatever workflow you want to add. This is a list of all the workflows you've created in your workflows template area. So if we wanted to add workflow strategy, we would click that and we would click apply. And once you click apply, it's actually going to run the workflow. Right now I'm just previewing the workflow and nothing is actually going to happen until I click apply. And when I do, it's going to add it to the list over here. I'll have 3 different workflows that are currently active, all running at the same time. There's no reason that you can't run multiple workflows at the same time, and they will just run their own workflows. It's not going to affect each other. Just keep in mind if you've got anything that overlaps, maybe timing wise, maybe sending emails from both workflows at the same time. That might be a little confusing, but it just depends on your setup and what you've got going on. You can have multiple workflows running at the same time. Now, if I take a look at this and I think, well, that's not the right workflow, I didn't want that, I can just click this X and that'll go away. All right, and that's it for today's tidbit. For more information about receiving updates, requesting future episodes, or getting help with your own Dubsado account, take a look at the links in the description below this video or visit sarahleeday.com. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.